Hey, Christine. Great question. So the zeros of a function is really like a big fancy word for finding out what x is. Let's consider this. I went to Desmos, by the way, desmos.com. They have an app too. They're great, free, and I basically just typed in that function. And here's the picture. Okay, so the zeros, what that means is like, yes, this is going to be a crazy curved line and it goes all over the place. That's great. But what happens when we make y 0, right? So basically, when we make y 0, we're just figuring out where the x-intercepts are. Where does this line cross the x-axis? And you can see just by touching here, we get -6, -5, and 3 because it comes up, loops around, comes back down, and goes that way. Okay? So that's literally it. That's your answer. Algebraically, what we're doing, we're told to find f of -5, or we're told that f of -5 equals, and I just wrote the function or the factored form because you did everything right, equals x minus 3 times x plus 6 as you got. So what we do algebraically, because this is f of x, we know that x is -5. They're giving us an answer already, and we can verify that. Let that zoom. By looking at the graph, we know that -5 is a part of this function. That's what that's telling us. So that's an answer already. We're going to have to include that. Now what we can do here is once we get everything fully factored, like this is fully factored, that's great. Once we do that, we can take each factor and set it equal to 0. So we're taking each factor and we're basically going back to the graph, just saying what happens if y is 0? What's going to happen there? So algebraically, I take my first factor, x minus 3, set it equal to 0. We just do some algebra. Here I'm going to add 3 to both sides, solve for x. X is 3. We take the second factor, x plus 6, set that equal to 0, do a little algebra, and x comes out to be -6. So our solution set is going to be -6, this guy, -5, because they told us that, and 3. And just by convention in math, we always list the most negative to the most positive. But in MyMathLab, you can put them in any order. It's okay. Just don't forget your commas there. Okay? So that's really what's going on with zeros. Big fancy term, but again, a lot of the stuff in this course is like solve for x, right? We'll call it an intercept. We'll call it a zero. We'll call it a root, a solution set. It's all the same thing. We're just solving for x. Okay, so Desmos. I don't know if you can see that logo there. It's probably not going to zoom. No, there you go. Desmos, Desmos, free online graphing calculator. It's beautiful, but you can't use it for proctored tests, but it's a great way to kind of verify your solutions and actually visualize what's going on. So I hope that helps. Let me know if it doesn't.